Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. Force here with some more lovely StarCraft 2 commentary for you today. I don't know why it's lovely, it just is. Today's series of games is going to be between Gosu's HwangSin and TSL Polt. We're in the map GSL Daybreak, starting in the lower left-hand spawn position. We've got our red Terran player, TSL Polt. And let's go with some tournament information again. Oh, I know you guys are loving it. Polt took first place at the Antec Attack number 6. Winning over Liveco 3-2. He also took second place at the NASL season number 3 qualifier, losing to a Live 2-3. So yes, that is Polt's most recent tournament information. His opponent over here, Gosu's HwangSin, in the upper right-hand spawn location. Our blue Protoss player took first place at the EXE Open NA number 1. Also took first place at the NA Zotac Cup number 14. HwangSin and Polt, both very strong players. Should be an exciting TVP, starting off again on GSL's Daybreak. Thanks for hanging around with me, guys. Look at, oh, is he really? Oh boy. Polt gonna be going command center first. Look at this, no racks yet. He's saving up his resources and will be dropping his command center first and foremost. And we will have to see what HwangSin decides to do about that. He's gonna probably, I am almost expecting him, once he scouts this, to hold off on the Cyber Core and drop his Nexus right away. That is what I'm going to assume is going to happen. We don't know, though. There's all sorts of options. I am really surprised, though, that he's trying to build this down here. This is going to be incredibly difficult. He is immediately forced to come down with an SCV. As soon as that probe scouts that out, yeah, there we go. SCV is forced to come down to deal with this probe. Otherwise, he would be harassed so badly while building this command center down here. So the probe just dancing around. You can see his vision. He saw that quick expansion now finally coming out with the racks. And he's gonna drop a pylon to save himself and then cancel it off. That is actually really funny that he did that. You are canceling that off though, right? I mean, that'd be, what is going on? A ton of probes pushing out early on. HwangSin coming out with a ton of probes. That is hilarious. HwangSin is going to be delaying this expansion from getting up. He is going to kill off that SCV without issue. Now the Marines are going to be in play very shortly. Not very shortly, but man, soon enough. This is crazy that he is committing this much to this. He is obviously hurting his income terribly right now. Let's take a look here. You can see Polt is quite clearly ahead because of the fact that HwangSin has so many probes off the gathering line now. That first Marine actually won't be enough to overwhelm this. And now that we got the Zealot over here, HwangSin with this crazy early game aggression. You know, we talk about how risky things like this are, going for an expansion first as a Terran player on a small map with only, you know, your opponent is guaranteed to know where you are. But usually you don't see this crazy aggression. As I expected HwangSin to just forget his Cybernetics core and drop the expansion. That's what you will typically see. Typically you will not see a bunch of probes pulled off the line and 2 Zealots to force the cancel of this expo, but that's what happened. And unbelievable there by HwangSin, absolutely unbelievable. So Polt now forced to build his expansion up here. You know, that's the funny thing too. Had Polt built that initial expansion up here, that wouldn't have been so bad for him. That is just ridiculous. Unbelievable. HwangSin, man, I tell ya, I need to do a lot more games of him because he just made what could have been a boring skipping the Cyber Core, going for an expansion, and waiting for the mid-game macro to kick in into a very exciting early game pressure. Wow, unbelievable. HwangSin now killing off the SCV and will finally be moving down to drop his expansion. He does have the Warp Gate research coming through, holding off on a second Stalker again so that he can get this expo up a wee bit sooner. 4 Zealots in play. Now they're going to be very threatening to those Marines with a bit of micro though. He is able to target fire down 1, going for the second now. And then we'll have no problem with these last 2. Oh, they make it into the main now. Not able to lower that depot. Forced to come down with some SCVs. Now they are trapped. And he should just turn around and do some damage because otherwise, yeah. SCV is providing a buffer. Zealot kills nothing. But here comes the Stalker. Stalker moving up now. HwangSin realizing, hey, he's got an advantage right now. He can continue to be aggressive. without issue. That was just craziness, man. That was craziness, and the fact that HwangSin kept up with it, kept those zealots going, and even went as far as to push with that stalker. That is pretty, I'll say it's pretty ballsy, and I'm pretty impressed with HwangSin so far this game. All right, so still only one assimilator. He's obviously needed a lot of minerals to get this expansion up, and he is just going stalker heavy right now. Wants to get a couple more gateways here, as well as 2 more gateways. Now getting dropped down here by HwangSin, finally coming out with his second assimilator. This will allow him to tech further, and we may even see a pretty quick third assimilator over here once this gets up and he starts to get that saturated with these extra workers here. Stalker now scouting out the fact that Polt is finally moving down with his expansion, and you can see that actually timed about the same. It's just, I don't know. I don't even know what to say. It's been crazy so far. They are even in terms of resources lost, as you can see here. Right there, they are exactly even, pretty much. 450 as opposed to 475. Now Polt is working up to stim pack research. No combat shield or concussive shell quite yet. He will be sticking with just these racks for a while as he starts to work up his forces, and then we will inevitably see that factory and starport with the reactor for the double medevac. Bio, Marine Marauder medevac, is what we will be seeing here from Polt with the eventual transition into Ghost. Of course, how do you know this? It's just standard, man, and that's pretty much what we expect is all. HwangSin over here with the Stalker trying to prevent secondary scouting from pushing up there with an SCV. He also has vision of the front with these 2 Stalkers, so he would see anything coming from that direction. And he knows that there's no way that Polt has a medevac now, so he knows he's all set, doesn't have to worry about drops, at least at the moment. Working his way up into Blink Stalkers, still just on the 3 gateways. Blink Research is being chrono boosted out. I'd like to see a couple more warp gates come through, but I don't know if he can afford it quite as of yet. You can see how low his resources are. Still just working to saturate. Scan goes down. Oh, the natural expansion. No scan in the main, but he does scout the fact that the natural is there. What has he seen yet? That's basically it. Doesn't know about Blink Stalkers quite yet, and he actually didn't see the bulk of the Stalkers, which are in the center of the map. Now, I don't think that HwangSin is actually in a position to push right now. He doesn't really have the forces necessary. We take a look at army size. You can see HwangSin very low, as obviously that early game engagement did set him back. I mean, he had a lot of workers off for a long time in the early stage of the game, and that certainly did set him back, and I think we're starting to see that come into effect here as he's got a small force, but right now starting to try to get that strong econ going as HwangSin is moving his way into a third right now. You do have to be concerned, though, about a push from Polt at this point in the game. Finally, here comes that factory, and we'll be seeing that starport built right next to that after with the reactor going on the factory so that they can do that hot swap. That is the standard thing that you will typically see. SCV Scout getting ready to push on and move actually directly towards where that third is likely to be. You can see he was rallied to go to that. So he does want to, of course, check to see if that is there or not. He will be moving up here first, and it looks like he might make that without issue. Oh, Stalker spots him, though, and with a bit of micro, he'll be able to get up to him and drop him. There it is. Blink. Blink to take it out. Now here we go. Polt now deciding to move out with some aggression here, and you have to keep in mind we're really concerned for HwangSin right now with his forces being so low. What he can take advantage of is that Blink research to try to increase the longevity of those individual Stalkers. But a stim pack is gonna be able to tear through this pretty quickly. He's got to be careful. Already losing 1 Stalker. I think he killed off a Marine, and that was it. Losing 1 Stalker for a Marine, that's not a fair trade-off, not at all, but clearly he was quite outnumbered. And here comes the push. It was a scan, finally. Polt drops a scan. It allowed him to scout this out. And now he knows. And he's in a good position to push. Now we have a charge upgrade coming through, and charge zealots would help a lot, plus those force fields. Really hope that he moves down with those sentries, otherwise he could be in a lot of trouble as this push is making its way on through. We got a pro moving on over in this direction. Here comes that bio. He really needs his forces down here at the third, or else he's in trouble. There we go, moving down with the charge zealots. Few more coming into play. Stim going up, dropping the pylon. Charge zealots and sentries a little bit late. Let's see if we can get those nice force fields down. Not enough charge zealots at the front, though, to help deal with this. And he doesn't have a pylon to warp in anymore on the battlefield. Sniping that pylon was huge for Polt. Nice force field wall, though. And still just a few forces left. If we can get some more zealots in play, here they come. He's going straight for these sentries, which is, of course, a wise move by Polt. But the reinforcement zealots mop up the rest. And luckily for HwangSin, he was able to defend that third. That was absolutely crucial for him to defending that third. So kudos to HwangSin in that defense. That could have been much, much worse had he lost this. Realize how quickly stimmed up Bio can drop a Nexus. Luckily, he got there in time with his forces and he was able to prevent that from happening. And really, that could have, I mean, that right there, losing the Nexus could have lost him the game. So again, good on him for defending. We got a scouting factory over here for Polt, allowing him to get a little bit of vision as to the surroundings over there, what's going on. Medevac's now finally in play. Armory also coming out, allowing for continuous upgrades. He's 0-1 to get that weapons level 2. He does need that armory to come into play. Lots and lots of medevacs. Taking a quick look at the army size right now. Polt is pretty far ahead, almost 21 supply right now ahead. Here we go, gonna drop in the main. We get a few stalkers over here. Let's see if he can snipe down any of those medevacs. Here comes the drop. No, not able to blink underneath and snipe it down. That is a problem here as we got the Bio now in the main stimming up, and they're going to be able to do a lot of damage. We got forces moving up right now for HwangSin. Watch his Bio start to tear through things. One warp gate almost gets taken out. Charge Zealots prevent that from happening, though. The Bios are right now forced to micro back into the corner. Nice Guardian Shields. That's going to help him a lot, cutting back on that range damage. Over the sentries are being sniped down. Bio with that stim pack able to really work through these gateway forces, but looks like HwangSin may have enough to deal with this. Few more charge zealots get warped in. We got a few workers moving down to engage as well, forced to lift off with what few forces he had left. Lost the medevac, which we're containing a few of those units. Let's take a look here at the resources lost. HwangSin is behind. How many workers were killed too? 12 workers so far this game killed for Polt, but Polt just did lose his entire force. Oh, he's got plenty left. Back at home, continuing up the macro, Polt with a huge army in comparison right now to what HwangSin has. HwangSin with another warp and starting to catch back up, but he's still only about half of the army supply of what Polt has right now, and it looks like Polt will be moving towards this third, and once more HwangSin's in the position where he really has to defend that, or else he is in a lot of trouble. 2-1 upgrades coming out right now for HwangSin. Upgrades at the moment for Polt. He is at 0-1, lifting up into the medevac, going to be splitting up his forces, dropping in the main, and then pushing onto the third. And with such a small force right now, 46 as opposed to 78, HwangSin splitting up the small force that he has could be a problem. His only saving grace is if he can snipe down some of these medevacs here before they land a lot of the forces. Otherwise, Polt should be able to take care of what's here and then push onto this expansion as well. And here we go right now. HwangSin trying to defend both positions as Polt is planning to be aggressive and hit both at the same time. Drop moving in the back, pushing forward. Snipes one medevac before it drops all the forces. Gets the second medevac. And he's going to be able to defend here with a couple more zealots being warped in, no problem. We got the stimmed up Bio moving in this direction. Nice Guardian Shield. Small little force field deters the Bio just for a moment. This has been taken care of. Down over here, though, there's a lot of Bio. More warp-ins. Immortals helping against those Marauders quite tremendously. Charged zealots are a huge threat, forcing Polts to micro back. HwangSin, though, he's got to be so careful about losing this. Moving forward now with a few more of those charged zealots, and Polt is just trying to micro away from this as much as possible. HwangSin, the more he can buy himself some time, the better off he's going to be as additional warp-ins come on through and assist. However, we do have reinforcements coming from Polt as well. A couple of force fields pushing back a few of those forces, keeping them away from the bulk of the stalkers, allowing them to do some damage, and HwangSin in a tough position, forced to come down right now with his probes. That is going to hurt him quite a bit. There's so many reinforcements coming out here for Polt. He's being consistently aggressive, and this is looking worse and worse here for HwangSin as Polt continues up this aggression. And as soon as Polt moves in with the rest of this Bio, he should be able to clear up the rest of what HwangSin has, take out the third, and Polt could win the game right here. There it is. HwangSin, realizing he's in a bad position, calls the GG. As impressed as I was with HwangSin's early game aggression, it is also important to keep in mind that did set him behind economically, having all those workers off of mining for quite a lengthy amount of time. And he did have a strong performance defending against drops and aggression, but this last push from Polt proved to be way too much for him to handle and force the GG, as continuous reinforcements were able to eventually overwhelm everything that HwangSin had. Alright guys, that was game number 1 here in the series between these two players. We'll be moving on to game 2 in just a moment. As always, if you like the content, please subscribe. Thank you for watching. Keep watching and keep owning.